Okay, so today's question was, who is known as Ajata Shatru? What is the meaning of the word Ajat Shatru? Ajat Shatru means one who does not have any enemies. Yes, that's simple. Not exactly that he does not have any enemies, but he does not consider anybody as his enemy. Okay, so therefore, Krishna also says in the Gita to Arjuna, when Arjuna asks a question, what is the symptom of a great soul? How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he behave? So Arjuna is not asking literally how he is sitting or talking, but what is the correct disposition of a great soul. So Krishna also answers this. He says one of the qualities is a great soul does not have any enemies. Okay, so that's very contradictory that Krishna tells Arjuna that there is no enemy. I mean, a great soul doesn't have any enemies. But the thing is, then Krishna tells Arjuna that you should take the Gandivan fight. So people get confused that why Krishna is telling Arjuna that a great soul doesn't have any enemies, but why is he telling him to fight? Okay, well, that's the need of the hour to fight. So Arjuna never considered anybody as his enemy. Okay, and the killing the Kauravas, that was the need of the hour. So here, all the Pandavas, they are actually Ajata Shatru. They never considered anybody as their enemy, but on a specific context, the Mahabharata says Yudhishthir Maharaj is known as Ajat Shatru. Why? Because he was so magnanimous that, let me give you an example, by that you can understand. So, when Yudhishthir Maharaj had done this Rajasuya Yagya, then Rajasuya Yagya is basically a declaration to all the kings that you will be subordinate to our rule and we will be the main king here. Okay, I mean in layman's terms. So generally it's very humiliating for a king or for a kshatriya to accept authority or subordination of somebody. Okay, uh, but when the messenger from Indraprasth had gone to all the different kingdoms for inviting them to the Rajasuya Yagya. So if you accept the invitation for Rajasuya Yagya, it means that you have accepted that I am subordinate to the kingdom of Indraprasth, who was headed by Yudhishthira Maharaj himself. So it is said, whenever the moment the messenger had come and said that we are planning to, our king is planning to do Rajasuya Yagya, will you please come and contribute to it? So then generally when kings used to hear that somebody is planning to attack our kingdom or to rule us or to put us under them, then they used to take out their swords and they used to be like, yes, we will rip their throat out. How dare he says, we will be subordinate to them. We are an independent kingdom. How dare you put us under you? It cannot happen. We will fight a bloody war and we will die, but we will never accept your dominance and your authority. Never, 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 ever. But when the messenger from Yudhishthir Maharaj's kingdom had gone and they had given this invitation to the kings, so when the kings heard Rajasuya Yagya, they started blazing out of anger. But the moment they heard it was Yudhishthir Maharaj, so they immediately used to smile and they said yes, you are right. He is the right person who deserves to do Rajasuya Yagya. He is the only one in entire Aryavrat, as Bharatvarsh was known those days. So we have absolutely no power, no objection to be subordinate to him and rule and let him rule all of this world. Yes, of course, there were some kings who were not agreeing, and Yudhishthir Maharaj had sent Arjun, Bhim, Nakul, and Sahadev in all the four directions. Okay, and then they had subdued those kings, and so whoever didn't agree, they were subdued by these four actually. Okay, But most of them, 95% of the kings, they just said, yes, if it is Yudhishthir Maharaj, we have no problem. So that is his greatness. That is how great and magnanimous he was. That all the kings of the world, when they heard that he is doing Rajasva Yajna, in fact, not only did they agree, they happily agreed, and they went and gave a lot of gifts also, and they contributed also to the Rajasva Yajna. So imagine how nobody felt that it was humiliating for them. Okay, I mean, of course, except some of the kings, which will always be there. So everybody understood he does not consider anybody as his enemy, and he is Dharmaraj himself. So therefore, everybody agreed to give contribution to the Rajasva Yajna, and then finally he was coronated as the emperor of the entire world. And of course, then he lost it all, and again, by grace of Krishna and by his and the efforts of all the other Pandavas, he gained it back. Okay, so that is why he is undisputedly known as Ajatashatru, and he. I mean, of course, all the Pandavas are actually Ajatashatru, but the Mahabharata specifically coins this term to Yudhishthir Maharaj. All right. Thank you for participating, and see you tomorrow.